Good afternoon or good evening, friends, and welcome to another sports report. My man Gary Patterson and I are here to give you the straight scoop.
Yes, sir.
On everything sports.
We'll see what we can do.
But first,
Yes.
I have a few other things that are off
Do you?
the charts.
Off the charts.
Need to talk about.
Okay.
Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah. Terrible.
Never saw the like of that before.
Yeah, amazing. It's a shame for what's
Not
going
just
on
in
down
my
there.
lifetime, but in the history of weather.
Right. Yeah.
It is incredible.
The way it just, a little bit of parallel to the blizzard of '78, right? It came in and then it just kind of spun around and it stayed there and it stayed there and it stayed there.
Didn't want to go away.
And it didn't want to go away.
Yes.
We ended up with 40 inches of snow, and
Yep.
they ended up with, unfortunately, 40 inches of water.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's a bad situation.
It's not just Houston either,
No.
but Beaumont may actually outdo Houston.
Yeah.
They were 48 and some change
Yeah.
this morning, and with a whole mess bearing down on them again.
Yeah.
Beaumont's not
hard to
a
imagine.
big city
Yeah.
at all.
Is that right?
I was down there one day this is great. I was down there to pick up a rental car, and I was going to work with the guys at Foxborough Company Beaumont. There are a couple of hot tickets, and we were going to go out and drink beer and try to sell valves. And I landed at the airport. The plane came in late.
Yeah.
The one girl at the one car rental, this is just a one-horse town here at this airport, waited for me. And she said, your car is out back, Mr. Crane. I said, thank you. And I went out back. There was that much water.
Really?
Yeah. So I went back in. And I said, can you help me? Can you get the maintenance guy to go out there and get that car the heck out? She said, no, he's gone home.
Really?
I said, well, what do you advise me to do?
Take off your shoes.
She said, Mr. Crane, we've had 9 inches of rain today in 11 hours.
Wow.
So there's no one here to help you. So I would advise you to take your shoes and socks off and roll your pant legs up and kind of wade through that water.
Head for the car.
That's what I had to do.
And it started up okay? And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did. It was a Chrysler Cordoba.
Chrysler Cordoba.
Yep. And
So was the town flooded? I mean, you're at the,
Yeah.
it was flooded there, but there must have been some.
But this part of the parking lot was down low in the corner.
Collection
and of
point.
course,
A collection point. Yeah.
where else would you have the car?
Right.
At the low point.
At the low point.
That's my Beaumont story.
Yeah.
North Korea
Yeah.
fires a missile over Japan.
Right.
Did these people have a death wish? Are
Yeah.
they
No, I don't think so.
master?
I just think he's pushing the limits to see how far he can go.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's not serious. And we launched off and took out an ICBM
Oh, did we?
with a defensive missile today. It's a
Oh,
test,
did we?
A test of our own.
Aha.
Yes.
Okay. Well, tit
Yeah.
for tat, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'll
So-
tell you, the tit for tat is going to be when we knock down one of his missiles.
Yeah.
I think that's probably when the excitement will start, or it will de-escalate.
Right. So it all comes down to whether you think he's a total raving lunatic or if he's just nuts, right?
Yeah.
And I think he's just nuts. And I think he's not.
Yeah, I enjoyed a couple of the talking heads.
Yeah.
Oh, hell, we can live with a nuclear armed North Korea. What's the big deal? We lived beside Russia for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Russians were pragmatic.
Right.
The North Koreans, are crazy.
Yes.
Big difference.
Right. But there's a lot of folks now, right? I mean, there were some people who might say the Pakistanis are crazy.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm
have
not sure
nuclear.
we describe them as the
Yeah.
rock of solidarity.
Right. India has nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on over there?
Yeah, the Brits, the Israelis,
Yeah. So
and now the Iranians are ready to scrub the agreement that was President Obama's legacy,
right.
and they're going to tear it up, and they're going to go back in the nuclear business. The world gets more dangerous.
Japan will be next.
That's right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, well said. The U.S. economy stays very resilient. Well, listen to this, folks. An individual and corporate tax cut and a bipartisan agreement on solving Obamacare in the stock market next year will take off like a rocket ship.
Yes,
and
I
go
agree.
up 30%.
Yeah, I believe it. You know, some numbers came out today. They were very good on GDP growth.
So, friends,
3% growth.
don't miss this. Every once in a while we have this spike
Yeah,
where 25, 30%, the market goes nuts.
right.
You can't afford to miss it. Don't pull out of the market.
Right. I agree with that.
Right now, patience is a story. Are you enjoying watching Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders make fools of themselves?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's better than a Three
Well-
Stooges movie.
Right. And so, without a doubt, Bernie's planning on running in 2020. And I believe Hillary is too. Do you think Hillary's planning on running?
I'd bet my last shekel on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You think
They're
she's
already-
giving up?
they're already on the campaign trail.
And what if Bernie ever starts a third party? And that may well happen.
It could happen.
Boy, that just tears that whole thing flying.
It could happen.
What a mess. And not that the Republicans are the bedrock of solidarity at this point either.
Yeah.
Golly.
What happens to the electoral map? I don't know.
Boy, who knows?
Right.
Right now, I don't think he's lost any ground.
Well,
If you were to give
the
him...
question is, does that split the Democratic Party? It actually gives the Republicans a much better position.
I think it does. However, the Republicans have got to swallow their differences.
Yes, they do.
And say we're
Desperately.
Republicans
They were
through
Americans.
and through.
Yeah,
And never mind Ted Cruz.
we're Americans.
I mean,
You know, and they're
God.
going to have to compromise on a few things, right?
Yeah,
To get
that's
things
right.
done. And you know, everybody, including myself, talks about the iconic Ronald Reagan, but they pretty quickly forget Ronald Reagan compromised on a number of things.
He
And
sat down and had a few whiskey and waters with Tip
Tip,
O'Neill.
yeah, he
and
gave
those-
and he got.
and that's right. Those after-hours chats
Yes,
between those two guys
Right.
solved an awful lot of problems.
that's right.
Words of wisdom by one hell of a man, as far as I'm concerned. Jim Brown, in
Jim Brown.
discussing Colin Kaepernick. I don't desecrate my flag in my national anthem.
There you go.
I think that
Good for
lays
him.
it right on the line,
Good for him.
and good for him is right. And finally,
Okay.
I have my Liverpool shirt on
You
today.
do indeed, yes.
Yep. In the British Premier League Sunday, John Henry's Liverpool Reds defeated Arsenal 4-0.
4-0.
As we say in soccer.
Yeah, that's a
Good win.
thrashing.
Good win. But consider this. Liverpool did not allow a single shot on their goal in the entire game.
Is that right? Wow.
And now, this isn't exactly City Mills High.
No.
Okay? Last year in the Premier League, Liverpool finished fourth with 75 points.
Yeah.
Arsenal was fifth with 74 points.
Huh.
So they are a good soccer team.
Yeah.
Not a single shot.
Not a single shot.
That was unbelievable. Well, by gosh. And you know I was going to talk about this, Gary, but this is so stupid.
What are we talking
The
about?
fight
Oh, the fight.
between those
Yeah.
two. Would you like to sum up your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, you know, I probably shouldn't say it on the air, but I actually did see it on I didn't pay for it, though.
Oh, okay.
I did not pay for it. I happened to see a streaming video of it. And so I actually did watch it. Plugged it into my TV in New Hampshire off the computer and watched it.
Now, how'd you find that?
Well,
Illegally?
no, not
No?
really. Not really. My understanding, the person who provided it was performing an illegal act, and that they streamed it onto the internet, and then we merely went up and got it off the internet.
You knew where to
So-
look.
Yeah, you just had to do a Google search.
Okay. Oh, all right.
And
So
it
it
would
was
tell you-
legitimately up there.
No, it was not legitimately up there. One of the first feed we had, of which the high def quality was phenomenal.
Really?
Was shut down. It was off of Yahoo, and Yahoo figured out that they were streaming that, and they shut them down. And so the guy proceeded to just go over to another
Site.
site,
That search engine.
and visible to us, he just switched over to this other site, and
There it was.
there it was, because we had gone on his website, and he was streaming it right off of his
Wow.
website.
What'd you
So-
think of the fight?
It was an exhibition, right? I mean,
Would you have paid $100 for
no,
it?
I wouldn't, and I refused to.
50?
I don't know. I thought it was an okay fight. I thought it was mildly entertaining because it was different, right? It was different, and McGregor came out and won the first couple rounds. Mayweather did nothing. They said he only threw 6 punches in the first round, right? And he averages 35 or something in the first rounds in all those other fights. So, and the other guy he had a different style. He had his hands out in front of him. He was knocking his hands down. But eventually, he wore down. And when he ran out of gas, he ran out of gas. He was done, and it was just okay. Go polish him off, which he did. So,
It's interesting. I used to be a big boxing fan.
yeah,
And I remember some great fights I
Sure.
watched. Really great ones.
Yeah.
And I was telling my son Patrick about one of the fights. And he said, well, Dad, and he had one of the telephones, like this, about the size of an early TV.
yeah,
He said, let's watch it. So he goes to YouTube, types it in, and there it is.
there it is.
So I said, well, this goes about 6 rounds. And it was Yvonne Durrell versus Archie Moore.
Oh, wow.
Archie Moore got knocked down 3 times in the first round, then very patiently came back and then wiped Yvonne Durrell's clock.
Wow.
Well, guess what? It didn't go 6 rounds like I remember. It went 12.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Went 12. Same result, though.
Same result. Yeah,
Yeah.
Archie eventually, that was it. He just turned it on. It just
Yeah.
walloped the hell out of him. That was a great fight.
Yeah.
But the best fight, well, I've seen a lot of good fights. The best fight I think I've ever seen was a very short fight. And that was Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hitman.
Hearns, yeah.
That was 3 rounds
Yeah.
of just punching.
Just fury.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I saw it in the Providence Civic Center. And you know, we're not there,
Yeah.
but you should have heard the crowd.
Hagler, Hearns.
They were
Yeah.
screaming and yelling. And,
Yeah. Those were
Oof.
great fights in those days.
Ooh,
Because that's the thing. You got Mayweather, right? And supposedly 15-0. He's fought a lot of cupcakes along the way, And so I think of Sugar Ray, Either Sugar Ray, quite
Yep.
frankly. If we could somehow use the time machine and have them fight, I think Mayweather would go down.
I think so too.
Yep.
From what I have seen. And there's a few other middleweights that would have taken him out too.
Yeah. Yeah. When
know.
people want to throw around, maybe the greatest of all time, I'm not buying it.
No.
Not even
no,
close.
No.
I think Sugar Ray Leonard would have beaten him.
Certainly Sugar Ray Robinson would have beat him.
I think Hagler would have given him a fight, but I think Mayweather might have beaten him. I don't know. I would have loved to have seen the fight.
Boy, I'll tell you, Hagler can take
Hagler would have attacked him.
Oh. So that's it.
Okay.
Now, on to basketball.
On the basketball, yeah, a lot going on.
What in the devil is going on with this trade? On again, off again.
Yeah. So, I think, I don't know if we've been on since they made the trade.
We haven't.
So, as far as the merits of the trade, did you like it or did you not like it?
I like the idea of getting Kyrie Irving. He's a hell of a player.
Right.
But I hated giving up Jay Crowder.
See, I'm okay with giving up Jay Crowder because I think we've already replaced him.
I think so too. Morris.
Right.
Yeah, he's a tough.
Well, we got
tough
Morris. I think Morris will play a lot of 4, I would suspect. I think it's Tatum. I think Tatum's the guy. I think Danny loves Tatum, and he loves Jaylen Brown, and I think he thinks he's basically got that
19 years old
covered.
and 20 years old.
Right, right. And I think Danny, and I believe it too, when that Tatum is really, he's going to be that guy that in 4 years, he's averaging 22 to 24 a night. I believe that. I think he is that kind of player.
He's a very graceful player.
He's going to be able to score in
yeah.
that league.
He sure is. And you know what I was interested in looking at?
So now you've got a handful of great scorers on your team.
Yeah, there's only one ball, though.
Right, right. But, I think Kyrie can handle that. There was only one ball in Cleveland, too, and he played with LeBron James.
Yeah, who likes to have the ball.
And Love, right? So to get both guys who
yeah,
had the ball before they came to Cleveland. Like, Love was the man in Minnesota, right?
Sure. And he'll, once he gets his hands on the ball, he'll throw it up.
I like Kyrie. I think he's a dynamic player.
He's very athletic.
Yeah. And as you know, I was not in favor of as much as I loved the guy like everybody else, I was not in favor of a max extension for Isaac.
No, was on.
No, were you?
Listen,
Yeah.
he is 29 years old.
Right.
He's going to be 30 before, or 30 or 31.
Yeah.
I forget exactly how the birthday falls. And I got to tell you something. He's tumbled on the floor a lot of damn times.
Yeah. I think we were fortunate because we saw his career year last year. Last year will be remembered as his career year, not any of the years coming up. So,
This is going to be a bumpy trip this year.
this is what I love about Danny Ainge. He's
Red Auerbach.
yeah,
When you're done with them, move them.
yeah, or Belichick or anything.
Or
He's-
Belichick.
he will pull the trigger.
Exactly.
He will pull
How
the trigger.
many of the friends of the family did he send packing?
Well,
Richard Seymour?
yeah.
I mean, jeepers.
But
creepers.
this
He's one that
Celtics
sticks
team,
out.
they won. It's a 15-man roster. They won 53 games, got to the conference finals, and 11 out of the 15 guys are going to be new.
4 are left.
There's only 4 roster players
And you
off
know
last
what?
year's team.
I don't really count Terry Rozier.
Yeah, he's one of them, though.
I mean, yeah. But, I mean,
I think he's been the future
Jaylen
plan.
Brown,
Yeah.
Al Horford, and Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
And Terry Rozier.
And Terry Rozier, that's it.
Yeah. And with these young
remarkable.
players coming, how much?
It's remarkable.
Yeah.
But you look at what's coming back, So we're going to find out how good Brad Stevens is because he's got talent. I mean,
The first 15 to 20 games is going to be like the shakeout cruise when they build
Yeah.
a battleship. Let's
Yeah.
go out and drive it around for a while.
yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's going to be fun to watch, though.
And of course, the one move left to make us a dynasty is next summer for Anthony Davis. So, and and once again, we need all of the stars to align for us. We need New Orleans to have a bad year and for there to be internal strife on that team. DeMarcus Cousins being just a jerk, right? And we need all that to happen. So Anthony Davis wants out. We need the Lakers to cooperate, and we end up with like the second pick in the draft. And then to match up salaries, you've got a package where you send Al Horford down there, along with that number 2 pick in the draft next year. And you're going to have to give up either Jaylen Brown or Tatum. I think it would be Jaylen Brown. So Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and what would be the second or third pick in the draft next year. And then maybe another pick or 2.
If we get Anthony Davis, he is borderline for the best player in the league.
Right.
Yep.
So now your big 3 would be Anthony Davis, Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving. That's pretty good.
Wouldn't that be good?
That-
Yeah. And
let's go play Golden
Tatum
State. Let's go.
dribbling in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this for next season. Mm-hmm. Right. So next season,
know-
Tatum's in his second year. and takes that step to be
Take that
the
extra
20-point
step.
scorer.
My son is a basketball nut.
So-
And that's exactly what he said. Dad, this is about next year.
Yeah, it's about
Yeah.
And is Davis actually achievable next summer?
He doesn't think so, but he thinks.
I don't think so either, but
he
I wouldn't
thinks
have thought
we-
Kyrie Irving was achievable
Yeah.
this summer,
Who would have thought this?
right? So, and you've still got, if that Lakers pick ends up being the second or third pick in the draft, which is supposed to be a good, top-heavy draft next year, top 5,
It's a license to steal.
right? And you package it with Horford because you're going to have to send the salary out. Horford and Davis are equivalent salary, so it fits.
Yeah.
And then you'll probably have to give up a Jaylen Brown.
This obviously didn't affect the Golden State Warriors at all, because they are still the 5-8 favorite.
Yeah,
In other words, you got to put up 800 to win 500.
yeah.
That's them going
That's
all the way.
That's a.
I don't
wow.
think I'd bet that.
No, I wouldn't either.
I don't like
Those odds.
I don't like chalk at the horse races, and I don't like the sounds of this.
Yeah.
However, I don't think I'd invest a whole hell of a lot in the Cleveland Cavaliers at 9-2,
9-2.
second choice.
Huh.
Celtics at 15-2, in
15-2.
third choice. 7.5 to 1.
Yeah.
Do you know if I had an extra $400 or $500 kicking around and I had a contact out in Las Vegas where I could get this placed, you might be able to talk me into a few bob on the Celtics. Just
Yeah.
hoping to catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. Or what if Danny could make that Anthony Davis trade at the deadline?
Make that 15-2 look damn good, I'll tell you.
It would. It would.
Ah,
What's
well,
Houston, just out of curiosity?
9-1, fourth place.
Fourth place, yeah.
Yeah. Then San Antonio 12-1, Okie City 25-1, Minnesota 25-1, and then there's the pack at 50-1 on up. Ending up with the Sacramento Kings, Orlando Magic, and Brooklyn Nets, all at 1,000-1.
Oklahoma City's 25-1.
Yeah, that's not a bad bet either.
That's interesting. I mean, they got Paul George to go with Westbrook, right? So, they don't really have much else. They got that kid Adams and a few other players.
never
But
know,
again,
though.
if they could
Catch lightning in a bottle.
or acquire another asset at the deadline,
You
so
don't
they
know.
had a big three.
I have a kid come of age.
But,
That's correct.
Westbrook and Paul George, that's a pretty good pair right there.
Yeah, it's a dynamite pair. And you take a look at what is later. Now, Philadelphia 76ers improved themselves enough to be 75-1.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But you know what? These guys are one hell of a lot smarter
Yeah.
than we are. I am anyway.
Now, Oklahoma City's at 25-1
Yeah.
is a little bit intriguing because they do have two premier players
Well, they do.
on that team.
Minnesota Timberwolves at 25-1 too.
They're interesting.
They are. I'm not sure. I don't think after that comes the Washington Wizards. We saw their act.
So Minnesota, right? You've got Karl Anthony Towns, you've got Wiggins, and now they have Jimmy Butler, right?
They're going to score.
So,
Now, then that is an interesting point.
yeah.
But and it triggered something in what's left of my gourd. Are the Celtics going to be able to defend?
I don't know.
We're not going to put that tenacious defense out there that took no prisoners.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Kyrie has a bad reputation
Yeah.
on defense, certainly during the regular season. What's interesting about him is 2 years ago when they won against Golden State in the finals, he covered Curry, and and he did a pretty good job. Curry put his points up, but
Who's going to stop him?
So and it was like you wonder how much he could play it if he really wanted to. Can Brad Stevens bring it out of him?
Maybe.
Because the physical ability is there to play defense, and I think we saw it 2 years ago in the finals when they actually were able to beat the Warriors.
Of all the things that he's done so far, now I loved Jay Crowder,
Yeah,
but also Avery Bradley.
Yeah.
That kills me.
Yeah,
There's
it's a shame.
kid that I watched him from a rookie. I love the kid.
That's what stinks about the system that they have in the league, you know? You develop this kid, you have to draft them when they're freshmen now.
Yeah.
A kid like Bradley, he wasn't even close to being ready to come into the NBA.
Insanity.
So you got to have 2 years of development while he sits down at the end of the bench
Yeah.
and maybe gets some mop-up time. And then he starts developing. Because he actually did sign a second contract here, right? Mm-hmm. This is actually his third NBA contract. So, and now you get to the point you got to either pay him $20 million or he's going to leave. And if you pay him $20 million, you can't do any of these other things.
You tie your hands, you know.
Yeah.
It's
system
not a good
is-
system.
No.
But I think there has to be a salary cap.
Yeah.
But you know, this whole NBA thing, if we had like 3 days, and you said to me, Bill, I'm going to explain the NBA contract
Yeah,
to
you
you.
couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
No.
It is by far the most complicated salary cap in sports.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
With all the exceptions and the trade exceptions and the mid-level exceptions and
Yeah.
you know.
And you get an extra, the Larry Bird rule or
Right.
whatever the hell it is, and
And all of a sudden, to make this trade, because we made the trade, we were able to go another $5 million over the cap.
yeah,
So we considered it on the cap.
And
So we don't have to pay taxes, right? I mean,
that's
the thing.
exact. Well,
But that's why Zizic went.
yeah.
You know, the only reason Zizic was in the trade was because they were supposedly that close to going over the cap, and it would have triggered a tax penalty of millions of dollars.
You know, I just
So-
have a couple more basketball things, and then we're going to have to get to the Red Sox. We can't dodge that. The odds to win the NBA Rookie of the Year, 3-1, Lonzo Bell.
Yeah.
3-1, Ben Simmons. 5-1, Dennis Smith. 11-2, Markelle Fultz. 7-1, De'Aaron Fox. I'll cut right to it. Jason Tatum, 16-1.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get the
He's
time.
not starting. He's coming off the bench, right?
No. Malik Monk was 9-1. Josh Jackson was 12-1.
So as a bet, I might throw something at Tatum at 16-1.
16-1.
You know?
Yeah, I just don't think he's going to get the ball off enough.
But you just don't know circumstances, right?
That's right.
Somebody goes down for a couple
Well,
of months.
now you're talking. A couple of injuries.
Right.
Force the kid out there, and all of a sudden, holy cow.
And you put him out there and he performs.
Yeah. Well,
All of a
that's,
sudden
that's the key.
he's hitting threes and
He's got to do it.
Yeah.
What Tom Heinsohn was talking one night on the radio, TV, and he has a "How do they do it?" list.
Yeah.
Has 4 guys on it. Bob Cousy. Mm-hmm. I saw him do things that I could.
Yeah.
How can somebody do that?
Yep. Agreed.
Bill Russell,
Yeah.
Larry Bird, and Isaiah Thomas. The little guy. He officially put him on the list last year.
Yeah. That's fair, I'd say.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you stop and think of the players we've had in Boston, and of course that's all he's relating it to, is players we've had here.
Right.
I think he's got it pretty well nailed.
Yeah.
And you know, my son and I were talking, and I said, too bad he didn't say, what's the best team ever put together?
Yeah.
And I've got to believe that it was the Bird, Parrish, McHale, DJ.
Yeah. 86.
86
Walton.
with Bill Walton as the
Yeah.
backup center, and his feet were healthy.
Yeah, he actually played.
When he started running the court
Yeah.
and came in, the other center was dead
Yeah.
and couldn't run anyway. He got more drives right
Yeah.
down the center of the hole.
He was
Bingo.
a perfect fit that year.
Oh, and the joy that you could see on his face.
Yeah.
If somebody said, we ran out of money, we can't afford to pay you, he would have said, oh, hell, I'll play for
Yeah.
free. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I've waited my whole career for.
He'd play just to be able to hang out in Cambridge on off days. Head for Harvard Square.
I get some lists too that when we have a dull time, we'll have to get to about baseball. Not quite as cool as that, but some cool lists.
Yeah.
About some things.
Okay.
So baseball.
Baseball, yes.
Here we are.
Yes, the grand old game.
First of all, I thought you and I would start off with predictions. American League East.
Yes, Red Sox are going to win it.
You and I both had them losing here.
We did.
A few shows ago.
We did, but I'm encouraged by Addison Reed. I think he was a timely.
He pitched well.
Timely addition.
And I got to tell you something now. I think we own him for the next.
No, I don't think so. I think he's a free agent. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. We better get this lad signed up.
We'll see. Yeah.
But of course, then again, his elbow could blow out tomorrow. And,
yeah.
Well, no, let's hope that doesn't.
Well,
happen.
because I think they're going to win. I think the offense hopefully will be enough. I think it can be enough.
We're going to limp into it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it's going to be New York's ineptitude as much as anything else.
Right. The other teams aren't great. I agree with that.
Yeah.
They don't,
Aroldis Chapman,
Yeah.
the highest paid relief pitcher of all times, is laying an egg about the size of this room.
Yeah. Signed him for 5 years too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of guys.
We'll see how it goes. It's baseball is like that. You get who plays well, who happens to get hot in the postseason, right? Because really, when I look at this team, I think the offense is okay. They don't have pop, so they need to produce runs, but they can produce 4 runs a game pretty easily.
As long as they can play the defense. Now, the other night, they were a disgrace out there.
The pitching.
I was going to shoot them the other night, the defense. They were throwing the ball around like it was a hot potato.
I mean, outside of Sale and
And
the
Pomeranz.
the closer.
Kimbrel.
Who else do you really trust? Do you really trust Pomeranz?
Yeah.
Do you really trust him
I really do.
for the postseason?
I would really, I would give right in front of the 38,000 fans. If Kyle Willis would teach him a third pitch, I would go out there and kiss Kyle Willis right on the lips.
Yeah. He's been good, I'll give you that. Even though he, like Eduardo, drives me crazy that they can't get through the 5th inning without throwing 100 pitches.
But you know what? If you say, go out there and give me everything you got for 5 and we'll do the bullpen. And
Yeah.
I think that's the way it's got to work with this kid.
Yeah.
But the other thing, too, I will say about Drew Pomeranz, he's a hell of a good fielding pitcher.
He is, yeah.
He hasn't made a bad throw to first this year that I remember.
No, he's been a pleasant surprise. I don't mean to denigrate him because he's been great this year, really.
He has.
Right?
Where the hell would we be without him?
Right. And when you think about the criticism that we probably leveled from these very seats when Dombrowski, first of all, traded for him, and then second of all, had the chance to get out of it and didn't get out of it.
You know what? That kid we traded out there hasn't picked the ball up. He had Tommy John. Yeah.
He had Tommy John.
Did we know something going in there that we said, no, thank you. There he goes.
So many of them have Tommy John now. And Tommy John's not a death sentence anymore. Tommy John
it's not. It's a year and a half in
It's a year and a half, but...
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because I'm going to jump over to Carson Smith.
Yeah.
Saw him down at Pawtucket.
Yeah, how do you look?
Very strange.
Really?
Very strange. He short arms the ball. He's a side armer.
Yeah.
And he short arms it and slings it. It's the damnedest delivery. And I'm saying to myself, gee, hurt his elbow.
Yeah.
What a surprise that is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I would have hurt my elbow about the 7th pitch doing that.
How hard was he throwing, you know?
92.
92.
Yeah. Now they say he's done 95, 97 in his career.
Yeah.
So not there yet.
Right.
But
next year.
I can see he could be very aggravating against a right-handed batter. Yeah.
Well, he was good. I mean, he, you know.
Oh, listen, he was.
Yeah.
And the Sox paid a price for him.
Right. So, you know, he had the surgery. He's had really missed 2 years.
Yep.
So I think he's a piece of the bullpen next year. And hopefully he's okay.
Hopefully they keep him pitching, send him out the Arizona League.
Yep.
Never mind this baloney about bringing him up to the big club.
Yeah, he's next year.
You can't put him up there.
I wouldn't bring him up. And now that you have Addison Reed, that helps take the pressure off to bring him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Barnes is just.
Bonzi and Kelly
Yeah.
like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
You don't know who the hell is going to walk out there.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you say to yourself, oh, bring Abad in.
Yeah.
Last year, I wanted to take him to the scrap heap and shoot him.
Yeah.
Jeepers, creepers. And Baltimore's not going anyplace.
No.
No. In the Central, Cleveland 7 over Minnesota.
Yeah,
I don't see how Cleveland misses.
No, they're in.
They've got a big advantage over all the other teams in baseball. They get the best manager.
Right.
And he'll keep things moving out there.
Yes.
Here's a no-brainer. Houston's got 13 and a half over LA.
Yeah.
Think they'll hang on?
Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah, they have an interesting young outfielder who's pacing them nicely. Josh Reddick.
Josh Reddick, yeah.
He's batting 308.
Is he batting 308 this year?
Yeah.
Good for him. He was a good player when he was here.
You know,
a
he
young
was.
player.
And I've told the story before.
That's a promise.
But when they had Ellsbury down there, and Josh Reddick, and the kid that's out of Cleveland, the DH there, they used to rotate them. Play left field this game, center field this game, right field this game.
That's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, and they just kept rotating them.
That's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Houston, you know, it'll be, who knows what's going to happen with the situation in Houston, right? I mean, they're playing their games in Tampa Bay this week.
Yeah,
and that was an interesting note that they have 2 series left with Texas, one in Texas, one in Houston. And they asked Texas if they could just swap those series, and Texas declined. So then they had to go to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, no.
Why would Texas decline that?
Why would they? I mean, that's poor sportsmanship.
Yeah, I just don't
really.
get that. That
stinks.
I mean, Texas is out of it, right?
Yeah.
They're not even really a wild card factor, are they?
They're 15 games behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but they're in the same division with Houston.
Yeah.
But so what? LA's 13 and a half behind. You really think LA's going to catch them no matter what they do? They could play, for heaven's sakes, in a sandlot up in City Mills.
So,
and they're not going to catch.
I'm surprised that happened, and I'm surprised the commissioner wasn't on the phone to Texas saying,
do you know what?
What are you doing here?
I'm going to tell you something. Rob Manfred is the biggest fraud.
Yeah.
I mean, how the hell did a stiff like that get a job like this?
Yeah.
Backing up the umpires twice. I mean, give me a break. What a
But you know, I don't know where their stadium is located in Houston.
In Houston, southeast quadrant, I believe.
So I don't know if it's flooded out area. I'm sure it is, right?
All of Houston is.
So
in the upper left-hand corner, the northwest is all flooded too.
So
Houston's a disaster.
I don't know how they play baseball there anytime in the near future.
They can't.
Right.
I don't see how they can do it.
So up to and possibly including the start of the playoffs.
How can you possibly have fans driving to the stadium?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting problem.
Yeah. I would think that
because that's a playoff team.
That the commissioner would step in and say, okay, now hear this. Texas and Houston, sit down and work out a deal where Houston can rent your stadium for the playoffs.
Right.
And don't either one of you come out of that room until the deal is signed.
Yeah.
And if anybody decides they're going to submarine this effort of mine, we'll talk about you losing a couple of draft choices.
Yeah, but if it's Texas, you're going to get some revenue out of it.
Well, that's
what's the problem here?
Yeah.
You're going to get cut in. Otherwise, your stadium's sitting there with the lights off.
If they just got the parking, for heaven's sake.
The concessions are,
Oh, God.
And they want to put it in a market that they can sell some tickets, right?
Sure.
And it's still accessible for the
That's
fans
right.
of the team.
That's right. Now,
know,
it's a hell of a
lot of those
ride
Houston
from
people-
Houston up to
well-
Arlington, but nonetheless,
They may be halfway there
yeah.
already, having been evacuated out of
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks were actually going to Dallas.
Oh, I
so-
would. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as part of the
Yeah.
rescue effort,
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
sending.
In the East, in the National League, Washington leads by 13 over Miami.
Yeah,
You think Washington's safe?
I think they're safe. They're in.
Now, Chicago is 2.5 over Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee just can't quite seem to get out of their own way here, and they're like a horse that's
Yeah.
not far off the pace,
Yeah.
but you got no stretch run. You know,
Yeah.
no
Milwaukee's
heart.
that team is an example of why you play 162.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Now the Cubs are only 70 and 60.
Yeah.
I mean, they have really underperformed.
They have.
Joe Madden must have sold his magic amulet to somebody for the highest
But
price.
they're going to get to the
because-
postseason, so I'm not sure of their health situation going into the
Well,
postseason.
I'll tell you what, Rizzo's turned it around.
Yeah.
I mean, he really had a dead summer.
Yeah.
He's up in the 30s now for home runs, and he's batting 280 or something like that.
How about Stanton? 51 as we sit here. 51. We're in August. Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, he's whacking the ball.
Yeah.
So he's going to be interesting during the offseason at 27 or 28 million, wherever he's worth. He's passed through waivers. Oh, because this year. He'd have to go through waivers again next year. But,
Unless they traded him.
well, that's what I mean. Yeah, during the trade. Yeah, I'm losing my head here. Do you trade him?
Well, let me just throw a crazy one out at you. They come at you and say Mookie Betts and Chris Sale for Stanton.
See, there's nothing down to Pawtucket as a
Yeah.
pitcher. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I might entertain that.
Right. Well, it would free up some money, potentially. Well, maybe not. You're not paying Sale that much.
Yeah, but you're going to have to pay Betts.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
But the other side of that is Stanton's been injured
yes, he has.
a couple of years
Yes,
and
he
out for a
has.
substantial amount of time.
He's even been out this year.
How far ahead would the Red Sox be if they had Stanton in the middle of the lineup rather than Hanley?
Yeah, they'd be a long ways ahead.
Yeah.
So you could throw Hanley in the deal if you were, say, willing to eat.
They wouldn't take Hanley on a bet they had him once.
What about if you were going to pay $14 million, so they only had to pay $8?
They may take you up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about this? How about L.A.? Now, this is a tight race out there in the West. L.A.'s ahead by 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arizona faded. Colorado faded. And L.A. is like that horse that just keeps on running.
Yeah.
Out of sight now. So,
Yeah, they look good. I mean, they're obviously got to be the favorites right now.
they're paying.
Now
By the
I
way-
don't know what. Again, Kershaw. Is he back?
No, so they're talking about him doing some workouts. I think I had something on him someplace.
So he's out there down there working out with David
with the
Price.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, no, that's another story. By the way,
but that's pretty big. I mean, Kershaw obviously.
the Dodgers have done this without Andre Ethier. Now, you say Andre Ethier? Hey, Andre Ethier is a pretty gifted outfielder and a
Yes.
fair hitter. Hasn't played yet this year, I don't think. He's been out with some form of surgery. They say he's close to a rehab assignment, or has gone on rehab. But LA's gone out and bought a lot of players.
They've also
developed
brought some
young
through the
ones.
system. Yeah.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
They're going to be tough.
They're going to be very tough.
Well,
How about Hill last week, right? With the had the perfect game going.
Yeah.
Then an error by the third baseman. No hit ninth. Comes out, gives up a bomb to open the 10th.
good idea for us not to sign him.
Yeah.
Back when he wanted $6 million over three, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would keep that 18 mil.
Yeah, we don't see it.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. He has a 9-1 record. I'm sorry that I misspoke. He has a 9-4 or 9-5. I didn't write it down, but his earned run average is like 3.1 or 3.2 or something like that. And 9 innings, 1 hit, 1 run,
Yeah.
99 pitches.
Yeah. Tough break for him.
Koji Uehara with the Cubs, 47 games, 3 wins, 4 losses, 2 saves, and he is 4.04 earned run average. And I think this may be the last stop on the MBTA for Koji.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, $6 million, and it would be hard for me to believe anybody would pay.
Was that a
6 million.
1-year deal?
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
I think that's the
he'll be heading home after this.
And he's probably going to take his buddy Junichi Tozawa with him. 3-3 with the Marlins, 5.57
Wow.
earned run average. Now, he's been hurt. And his lifetime is 3.75 earned run average. Here's an update on another blast from the past. Fat Matt Albers.
Yeah.
7-2 with Washington, 1.74 earned run average, 52 games, 51 innings pitched.
Huh.
They have finally figured out how to use Matt, I guess.
Wow.
Or he's lost 50 pounds, one or the other.
Yeah. Spot guy.
Yeah. How about the other night, Tripp Gibson, rookie home plate umpire, those first 2 innings?
Yeah.
Now, I haven't umpired a game for 40, 45 years, 50 years. If I couldn't go out there and do better than he did,
Yeah. That was
take
rough.
me out back and shoot me.
Yeah.
I think these balls this far outside. Rude!
Yeah. The league will take note of that. They do review those umpires.
Boy, I sure hope
You know,
so. Because
I'm sure he got talked to about
well,
that game.
I think he's one of those guys that's filling in for somebody on vacation. I have
Oh.
never heard or seen of him in a game before.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with him either.
Yeah, but mercy, I don't know what
Yeah.
he was on, what was in the cough medicine, but jumping Jiminy. Andrew Miller,
Yeah.
shut down,
Shut down.
tendonitis in his right knee, 5 to 7 days.
Yeah.
He's
It's going to be
beginning
longer
to
than
show.
that.
Yes,
It's going to
it
be longer
is.
than that. Yeah,
He's
this is-
beginning to show his age too, a little bit.
Yeah, and it appears this knee thing is kind of a chronic.
Yeah.
This is not going away.
Gary, were you thrilled and laughed and had a good time with Nickname Weekend?
No, I hated it, and not to mention the fact they lost all the damn games.
Yeah.
So,
If
Yeah.
there was anything stupider than that introduced into, well, aside from Rob Manfred becoming the president, that was stupid.
Yeah.
But for him to allow this, I mean, give me
yeah, I thought it was.
Right.
But you know what? I mean, it wasn't targeted at you and me.
That's right.
It was targeted at kids and youth and the generation.
And girls.
And girls.
Yep.
Demographics they
Yep.
need to recruit. They already got us.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Gosman, who I chose at the beginning of the year for an outstanding season, hasn't done it.
Yeah.
But boy, he was tough the other night against
was.
the Red Sox,
Yeah.
and I think that was his 11th win, I think.
Yeah.
Something like
You know,
that.
middle of the road guy.
Yeah, but he looked good.
He did.
And he threw the ball hard.
He did.
Mike Napoli has achieved the 200 mark. He's at 204 now.
Is he at 204?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Alejandro Diaza, who we had for a brief spell in the
Yeah.
outfield.
It was a brief spell.
Is playing some regular right field for the Washington Nationals.
Is he?
They got some injuries in the
Yeah.
outfield. Danny Duffy. Remember last year we'd
yeah.
have the Danny Duffy
Yeah.
updates?
Yeah.
Well, I got an update for you.
Okay.
8-8, 6 innings. He went the other night, 1 hit, and 3 base on balls, 7 strikeouts, and he's got a 3.78 earned run average. He gets the win, but he goes back on the DL with an elbow impingement impingement
Uh-oh.
on 8/26, and then he got arrested for drunken driving on 8/29.
Uh-oh. You should use the Tiger Woods defense and say it was the pain meds.
So, folks, we won't have any more Danny Duffy updates.
Yeah, we won't be hearing from Danny.
I watched Hector Velasquez the other day down to Pawtucket, and he just toyed with the other team.
Did he?
He's got a 2.39 down at Pawtucket.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a call-up for September.
I guarantee it.
And
yeah.
he got the old fastball up to 92.
92?
If he can do that, he can win in the majors.
Yeah.
He
You would think he
knows how
could.
to pitch.
Yeah. I wonder if I always, they talk about somebody being a 4A player. He looks good at AAA, but he can't quite get over the hump to the pros. He's 4A. I wonder if
He doesn't rely on his fastball. It's
Right.
all off-speed stuff. I think he can do it. I really and truly do. Now, 2.39 up in the bigs, I don't think
No,
so. But
but-
long relief in the big leagues, 3 or 4 innings.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done that role a couple of times for us.
Yeah.
Rajay Davis, I think, was a fine
like that
pickup.
acquisition.
I do.
Yeah.
Always liked Rajay.
Yeah.
Last night, 2 stolen bases, 2 hits.
Good bench player.
Yep.
4th, 5th
I
outfielder.
know, but I
I'd rather
thought,
have him playing out there than Brock Holt.
yes.
Yeah.
I've seen enough of Brock Holt, and
Yeah.
we're not going to get to it. It'll have to be on the next show. But I have Brock Holt scheduled for the NACA yards. You know what that is in Britain, don't you?
Enlighten me.
That's where the old horses go when they put them down, the NACA yards.
The NACA yards.
Yeah, and I get Holt headed for the NACA
yeah.
yards, right along with Hanley.
Yeah.
Doug Fister, I think, personally, I'd sign him in a heartbeat for next year and the year after. If I had to. I'd give him
Easy.
2.
You'd give him 2 years?
I would. I don't want to lose this guy. I don't want somebody outbidding us. This guy knows how to pitch.
He does.
And if he gives you 2 or 3 good outings out of 4, I think he's well worth it if we ever decide to hit.
5.
Oh, okay. If we ever decided to hit, Fister's record would be reversed.
Yeah. He got off to
love-
a rocky start. He has pitched some very good games.
Yep. I love ground ball pitches.
Yeah. He works
And-
fast. That's what I
And
like
guys
about him.
that are fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
He also is a good fielder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good fielder. He works fast, gets the ball.
Jalen Beeks, down to Pawtucket.
Yeah.
81 innings, 81 strikeouts, 3.00. He came down to Pawtucket halfway through. He's a 5'10", 5'11" left-hander. He could throw 94.
Those 94?
Yeah, and he's only like 23 or 4 years old.
Is
He's a systems guy.
he working out of the bullpen or is
Starting.
he's starting?
Yeah, trying to get 5 out of him every time he pitches. I like the looks of him. Corey Kluber, Cy Young winner.
Yeah, pretty close. I mean,
Boy, I'll tell
I'd
you.
have to think about it, but he's obviously a candidate.
Yeah, him and Sale.
Yeah.
Every time I see Kluber,
He's
I say to
impressive.
myself,
He's really impressive.
man, this guy is good.
He's got good stuff and he knows how to pitch and he's got great control.
Yep. Do you
And
know?
multiple pitches.
The Red Sox are, I've lost my thought here, but anyway, the Hall of Fame bullpen that
Yeah.
was coined by Dave O'Brien, who should also go to the NACA yards.
Yeah.
That is shaky now.
Oh, I think the bullpen's very shaky. Honestly, now, they have the stats and all that stuff. I get all that, but to me, Kelly, you said it earlier, Kelly and Barnes are so inconsistent.
Kimbrel the other night.
Yeah.
They bring him in what, a 3-0 game?
Right.
It's 3-2 by the
Right.
time Kimbrel gets through.
But, that's going to happen. I mean,
It is, but you know what? If it was 1-0, I swear he'd bear down more.
3. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. I just think it's going to be difficult if you're You know, you're going to go four deep in your rotation. If your third and fourth starter are only giving you 5 innings, now you're talking about Joe Kelly and Barnes,
Heath Hembry
of
the fastball fan.
you know, honestly, you're going to need those guys. They're going to
That's
come
right.
into those games. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm just going to use Reed." And
Should we take Christian Vasquez and send him to a lab to find out what he's on?
I don't know, but it's working. So let's wait till after the season.
4 for 4.
Yeah, he's looked really good this
Here's
year.
my 3-part plan for the Red Sox. I already told you about signing Doug Fister.
Yeah,
Rodriguez and David Price on a one-way trip to the NACA yards.
okay.
Signed Edward Nunez to a good contract and trade or release Brock Holt or send him to the NACA yards. Remember, we have Marco Hernandez on the long-term DL and he'll be healthy by next spring. Keep Rajay Davis as long as he's willing to settle for something reasonable.
yeah.
I mean, he's getting $6 million. I don't think I'd care to pay him that, but if he's interested in $3 million,
Yeah, I was going to say maybe 4.
and release Chris Young, because Rajay gives you more than Chris Young gives you.
Yeah.
Take Hanley Ramirez to the NACA yards also.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how you do that, right? I mean, you can just pay him and have him go away if you want. He's got 1 more year left,
Yeah.
right? Next year.
I think you do.
right.
I think you've got to do that.
I'm not convinced that they're going to do that, but I think Hanley might very well be here. But I do think if you really want to move him, if you're willing to eat some of that contract, meaning
You're
you
right.
can price him as a $10 to $12 million player, I think you could find some interest in him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
But
you're
you're
right.
going to have to eat $10 million. If you say, okay, we'll eat
That-
$10 million, he's
that's
making
fine.
22,
Yep.
we'll eat 10, you take 12.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Paul Goldschmidt. I'm fascinated by him because I think he's the most underpaid player in baseball.
Yeah, terrific player.
He's making $8.750 this
Yeah.
year. He goes to 11 next year and 14.5 in 2019. At 2020, at the age of 32, he becomes a free agent.
Yeah.
We ain't got no chance to sign him. I wouldn't go after him at 32. But
No.
boy, I'd certainly like to trade from him. That has got to be the friendliest contract
Yeah.
in the world for a real player.
Yeah.
Eduardo Nunez is making 4.2. He's
Yeah.
30 and he's going to be a free agent. You know there's going to be people knocking on his door at the end of this
Yeah.
season. Red Sox would be very wise
3
to be
years.
sitting down with his agent
3
and
years,
getting that
24.
square. Yeah, there you go. That'll work.
3 years, 24.
Bryce Brents ended up down in Pawtucket with 30 home runs and 84 RBIs, and he's been sick the last couple of 3 days. Somebody said food poisoning, but maybe it was something stronger than that. And Hector Velasquez was 8-4, 2.23. And I told you Jalen Beeks. There's one other guy down there, a left-handed reliever, Edgar Olmos, Olmos, 8-3, 2.80, and he's been used in long relief. And on that note, folks, you're going to have to wait until next time
Yeah.
to hear the rest of it. But we will try our darndest to get a show in that before
Discuss the Patriots'
before
cuts.
the Patriots, you know,
Discuss their cuts.
yeah, and give our predictions
Yeah.
for the coming season.
Indeed.
We've got to do that. So, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Good night.